Hey everyone, so I'm back with my Vevor 5K diesel heater. Um, is it Vevor or Vevor? How do you guys pronounce it? Don't suppose it matters. Anyway, I did a previous video, I'll post a link to it, of the unboxing or opening up of it, whatever, just showing whatever it was. Basically it comes with the heater, the control panel, intake, exhaust pipe, output, ducting with a vent on the end. Comes with I don't know, kind of a condenser. They call it a muffler for the exhaust. And a bunch of clamps, hose clamps, and a remote control. So all you're going to need is a flat screwdriver for the hose clamps. I'm going to be using a 6 and an 8 millimeter for those. And I'm going to try something. I'm going to show, you'll see what I mean. But I may need an 11/16 socket. We will see. So anyway, so that's everything it comes with. So let's get right to it. Let's just move this stuff out of the way. That out of the way. Pull this over here and open her up and take a look under her skirt and see what's going on here. Come on. Jeez Louise, that's cut my fingernails and now I got nothing to get underneath these latches. Okay. Both sides, 2 latches on each side. Remove the fuel cap. Don't want to say gas cap. All right. So there's your fuel tank. There's your heater. Everything looks good. We're going to put a little bit of kerosene in the tank. It's just regular old clear kerosene. Triple filtered for purity, burns a little smoke or scent, low sulfur. Ergonomically designed for easy pouring. Look at that. Does that look ergonomically designed, or does that not look like every 4-liter jug you've ever seen? I don't know. I'm not seeing the ergonomics here. Oh, love the smell of kerosene in the morning. I can always dump it out if I'm just going to dump it all in there. It's not much. That only gives me up to there, which is just a little above the intake, so it's not too much. This thing wasn't full. All right, so I don't know if you guys can see that on camera. There it is. It's full to there. And if you look, there's your intake on the front here. Yeah, we'll just leave the fuel cap on for now. I don't think there's anything else we need to do. Let's take the fuel cap on. We'll put the cover back on it. Slides over. We'll screw the fuel cap back on because I lied. I don't like the smell of kerosene. I gotta be honest with you guys, these clips aren't my favorite. I mean, they work, but they're not the greatest clips I've ever seen. There we go. Okay, there's the front, just got fuel in it. Turn it around now. There's the back. That's your intake, your air intake for your heated air, where it sort of sucks in the room temperature or cold air, runs it across the heat exchanger, and out the other end is hot air. Let's cut this zip tie off. Uno momento. Have to get something. Let's cut those. I mean, the wiring really couldn't be simpler. It's just two wires, positive and a negative. And they need to be hooked up to a 12 volt. We won't do that quite yet. First, we're going to hook up the underbits. I should have hooked up the underbits before I put the fuel in it, but whatever. It is what it is. Okay, now what I want to show you guys, or what I've managed to figure out on my own. See, there's this little half moon cut out here for the exhaust, because the exhaust hooks up underneath. So you want it like that and bend it at a 90 degree and come out. Now, I don't want to put this, the exhaust pipe on the bottom comes straight down. I don't want to put this over and then bend it because I'm afraid I'll break something. So my idea is I'm going to clamp this in the vise. Fits perfectly, almost like it was meant to be. So good. Anyway, and then we're going to try and bend this at a 45 off this way. So I'm going to pause it here. We'll go back over. I'll set it up and give that a try. So just a sec. All right, everybody. So here we are at the vise. 11/16 sock, deep socket, locked into the vise. Fits perfectly on there. See? Just beautifully. And what we're going to do is bend this. Or we're going to try. So far, not so bad. This pipe is just so thin, I'm afraid of wrecking it. That looks all right to me. How does that look to you guys? Could go a little more. Let's see. What's that? Hold on a sec. Let's check her out. My mini varitus angle. Looks pretty good to me. Maybe could go a little more. Just a little. All right, let's see. That looks pretty good. Pretty even to me. What do you guys think? All right. Let's bring you guys back over here. We're going to tip this over a little bit. We don't want too much now that we've got the fuel in there. See if we can get that on. Oh, let's take out one of our clamps. There's two of these worm drive hose clamp dealies. Stick one over there before we put it on, and then we put it on. Let's see. That's pretty close to touching the ground, but that'll suffice for now. Right, we'll clamp that on. Now, one nice thing they've done here, if you guys can see this, there's an opening in the side where you can slide a flat screwdriver in to tighten that up. I don't know if my socket will fit through there, will it? Of course not. All right, let's try this again. We're going to put the hose clamp on. Good grief. Come on. It's a good thing this hole is here. I heard some of the earlier versions didn't have it. You want that nice and snug so you don't get any exhaust leaks. All right. Now all we need to do is hook it up to a battery. Fire it up. We should hook the air intake up on the bottom too, no? Let's see, how flexible is that sucker? It's pretty flexible. Let's I'll take another one of these hose clamps. That over there. And I think we'll have this one come out the back. a screwdriver. Come on, you stupid thing. All right, hold on. I'm going to pause you guys. All right, folks, here we are. So I've got everything hooked up, the air intake hooked up, battery. I've just got the wires vice grip to a battery. I'm not sure if this battery is good. It's showing 11 volts, so I don't think it's going to work, but we're going to try it. So let's turn it on here. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, H3, that should fire it up, should start ticking. Hear the fans blowing some cool air. Now let's see if it starts pumping. Should hear the pump kick on in a minute. I think my battery might be too low. We might have to charge the battery up and try it again. All right, hold on. Let's hook a battery charger up to this and try it again. Okay, cut it off. Oh, Lordy. So what happens when you don't edit your videos, you just do them on the fly. Things don't go right. Real life. I don't edit out the nasty bits. Let's put the negative on there. Positive on there. Let's put this over to 12 volts, 6 amps. Plug her in. And let's see what that gives us for voltage. We're showing 12 volts. Okay, well, let's try it again. Fan should kick on. Fan's lightly blowing. I think it takes like a minute here before it'll start pumping the fuel into the burn chamber. Let's turn the heat up high. Actually, we don't want it that high. There, let's go to, no. These buttons are backwards. So 4 is the second highest. So we should have something going on here. Come on. That sounded like a fuel pump. So that's the fuel pump priming it. Hope you guys can hear that. By the way, don't do this inside. I'm just venting my exhaust into the closed garage here. I'm all right. I don't have any brain cells to kill. It's going to take it a minute to prime because it never had fuel in it. Let's see. Is that feeling warmer? So that little sign is the glow plug, so that means the glow plug's activated. Nothing yet. Feeling a bit of air coming out of the exhaust on the side here. Come on. I'm sure this is just because it's priming itself up. Oh, it lit. Oh yeah, she's burning. I think she's burning. She was burning. I can smell diesel. I can smell it burning. Oh yeah, there's definitely some heat coming out of the exhaust now. You guys hear it? This should be outside, by the way. Oh, it's getting warmer coming out of here too. Pretty cool. Oh yeah, she's blowing warm out of there. And again, this is directly venting into my garage right now, but it's not even that bad. You can't smell it that bad. Reason being is it is kerosene. It's not diesel. Oh, is that ever blowing warm? It's not nearly as noisy as I've heard people complain about the ticking of the fuel pump. This sound, the whoosh you're hearing, you wouldn't hear when this is outside. The muffler might even quiet that if I put it on. Ooh, that's very warm. So that's the temperature inside the burn chamber right now, 48 degrees Celsius, 50 and climbing. I can't hold my hand within an inch of it for too long. I'm about 3-4 inches there now. It puts out a lot of heat. Let me back you guys up here. That's a lot of heat. Very hot. Whoa, that's really hot. Let's get a temperature probe here. I have one. Let's try this a little. Temperature gauge. The heat exchanger right now is 60 degrees Celsius according to this. Oh, 87 peaked at. Let's see. And climbing. 99. Okay, I'm going to shut this off before I gas myself here. So when you shut it off, you'll hear the pump slowing and then eventually pump shuts off. You'll hear this get quiet, the exhaust. The fan will keep blowing, and that's very hot. Now the smell in here, I got a bit of a big nose, and I'm not smelling a whole lot. It smells like having a kerosene lantern burning, because it burns very little fuel. So that fan will keep on going until it cools off the exchanger. So it basically doesn't have a meltdown and burn everything up. If that heat exchanger stays hot, I'll explain this to you here. I've been doing a lot of reading before I even fired this thing up to make sure I wasn't going to kill myself. One of the reasons you should have it hooked to a battery and not a transformer or a converter is because the fan needs to keep running. Once it's shut down, the fan needs to keep going to cool off the heat exchanger. If it doesn't, it'll melt down your circuit board inside there. It's a bad scene, man. The casing on the, this is plastic. Now, oh, that's even cool to the touch. That's not even a problem. I don't know what kind of plastic this is, but it's fantastic stuff. Anyway, so you want to have a constant power supply so when it shuts off, or say if you're at home and you have it hooked up, oh, it's blowing some more. It's cooling down. If you just have it hooked up to a converter or some kind of adapter, 12-volt adapter, it needs a minimum of 11 amps for the glow plug to fire up. Running amps, I think, is 3 amps it needs to keep going, to keep itself running. Jeez, that's still blowing a lot of hot air and it's not even burning. So yeah, if you just have a converter hooked up and say you have a power outage, the power goes out for some reason, your fan won't work. It'll just shut off. Your heat exchanger will stay hot, possibly with still the burner burning in there, and you'll have a meltdown. So that's why you need some sort of battery supply. It doesn't have to be a car battery, a small lithium ion battery, 12 volt, hooked up to a constant trickle charger of some sort would work. Most people just use a car battery. That's it, car battery and a trickle charger, or I got it hooked up to a battery charger. It's the same thing I've had forever. I just want to see how long this runs after shutting down. And I didn't even have this up to full temperature yet, remember, so there's that. That's still very hot. What are we blowing at here? Can you use 69. Now, from what I've read and the experience, I joined a Chinese diesel heater Facebook group, talks about these. On a tank with this, on medium to high, it kind of varies. Being a cheap Chinese diesel heater, they're not exactly precision instruments. Should get 12 hours on medium to high on one tank of this. This tank is, I don't know what it is, a gallon maybe. So yeah, that's it. And you can easily hook it up to an external tank. The hose, you just disconnect from this tank, and you can put the tank, can be up to 8 meters away, not feet, meters. So you can run a hose, put a tank outside if you want, put it somewhere. Winter, you might not want it outside unless you put some anti-gel in it or something. I don't know. But it works. It's cooling down now. That wind is getting cooler, the breeze. And she's still going. Everything works as it should. It's very cool. Another thing I could do is try the remote. Do we have any batteries in the garage here? What do we got? I'm gonna guess, oops. I'm gonna guess it's AAA's. 2 AAA's for the remote. Sure, I have a couple of AAA's in here. Of course I do. Sorry people, bear with me if this video is getting a little long and boring. I'm going to see what some temperature of the exhaust. Exhaust pipe at the bottom right now is 27, but it gets hot. I've seen videos where these exhaust tubes get like almost red hot. Also, another thing I've read, and again I have no experience, it's the first time I've ever fired one up, is the let them burn for a while. When you first get it, fire it up and let it heat to burn off the smell, anything, paint, anything inside, coatings and that type of stuff before you run it inside. What else? It has to fully cool down before it'll start again. So let's try and fire it up. Turned it on, it says waiting. Waiting. I'm waiting. Still waiting. What are we waiting for? It's got to connect to that. Waiting. I don't know if there's some way to pair these or something. Still says waiting. Let's push the OK and OK on this. See if we get a pairing. Nope. Oh, not sure what that is. Again, the manual, I have the manual inside, I've read it. And it's very generic and in poor English, Chinglish as they say. It sounds terrible, but it doesn't work. Anyway, the remote's not working. I'll have to figure that out, and perhaps I'll add a second or a third video onto this series. But that's it, it works. So it should turn itself on again. And it shouldn't take as long to fire up this time, because it should have fuel already at the burner pretty much, so it should just start ticking soon. I don't know what that is. This is totally awesome though, isn't it? So it will run on kerosene, diesel. Lots of people have tried burning waste oil or a mix of waste oil and diesel, mix of waste oil and kerosene, mix of kerosene and diesel. Stick to diesel and stick to kerosene. It carbons up the combustion chamber and stops working, doesn't work as efficiently, and then stops working altogether, and you got to take it apart and clean out the combustion chamber. Come on. What is this one? I think that's the glow plug. Or is it coincidence that every time I hit that it fires up? Again, I got to read some more instruction manual and do a little translating. Oh yeah, it's burning already. We're getting hot air out of here. This should start climbing rapidly once it's really burning. I think I might have a battery issue too. We're a bit low on volts. Yep, we're climbing. You can hear it. It takes off like a jet. And watch, this gauge should start going up. Oh yeah, she's getting hot. $54, $56. Yeah, we're getting a lot of heat here. This camera is about 2 feet away, I'm gonna say. And I've got it slightly above the blower here. Well, that's what this is for. You can duct it. See what I mean? We don't really need that right now. Let's see how hot that exhaust pipe gets when it's running. 36. But again, this hasn't been running for 5 minutes even, and this, I can't hold my hand directly in front of it anymore. That puts out a lot of heat. I'm thoroughly impressed. Okay, I'm going to shut it down again before I gas myself. You can hear it wind down. And it does. Again, it smells like a kerosene lantern, so that's it. That's my setup. I will have to figure out the remote, and I'll add a video if I figure that out. This does come off too. You can pull that off and mount it elsewhere. I don't know how much hose we got, cable we got here, but some. You know, say you're putting this in your van or your RV or anywhere. Your fishing shack, ice fishing shack, camper, anything. So that's it. You guys got any questions or comments? Leave them down below. I will answer them. Or if you have any requests, you want me to try anything, let me know. I'm just happy it works. Still feel some heat coming out of here, so it's still burning in there. That's why the fan's going. I think the fan goes until it senses a certain temperature. Yeah, this is its cool down period. Oh, anyway, thanks everybody. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. And that's it. The Vevor 5K diesel heater. Thanks everybody. See you later.